What is going on, guys? It's Modded Warfare here. Welcome back to another episode of the new PS4 Jailbreak tutorial series for the 9.00 jailbreak on the PS4. In this video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to apply cheats for your games using trainers and mod tools. So I'm going to be showing you both of those here in this video. So before we get started, if you haven't watched any of the previous videos, check them out. There's a playlist link down in the video description, which includes a full jailbreak tutorial showing you how to jailbreak your PS4 from start to finish on 9.00 or lower. So before we get started, make sure you've already ran the jailbreak. Go on your exploit page, whichever one you're using, like caro218.ir or nightKinghost.com or any of the other popular exploit hosts out there. And then head on to your jailbreak and run the gold hen payload to successfully jailbreak your PS4. Plug in your USB drive with the hacked image on it when it asks you to, so that you're then running the gold hen payload. If you don't know what I'm talking about, check out the full jailbreak tutorial linked below. So anyway, once you've got the actual gold hen payload running, the next thing we need to do is get our PS4's IP address. So head into the settings and scroll down to the system settings and go to system information. You can see my IP address ends in 137.22. So you're going to want to keep a mental note of that. So we're going to be covering the PS4 Trainer by Tyler mods, which is a huge trainer with loads and loads of different mods for many different games. It's community supported, so there's always new games and new cheats being added to the trainer constantly. It's also a web-based trainer, so you can access it from, any device on your network that has a web browser. So it's a very useful little trainer that has mods for every game you could probably have on your PS4 pretty much. So that's what we're going to check out first, and then I'm going to show you how to get mod tools working in the second part of the video. Now the thing with the trainer is that you can use it online and offline, so it's up to you which one you want to use. The offline version takes a bit more setup, but I'll show you both of them here in this video, starting with the online version. So the first thing we're going to do is run our internet browser, head back onto our exploit page once again, and this time we're going to load up the WebRTE payload right here. Now, if you get an error message while trying to run the payload saying that you have to enable the bin loader server or something to that effect, then head into the settings menu, go to gold hen settings and tick the box to enable the bin loader server, and then try and run the payload again. Although hopefully you shouldn't have to do that, but some exploit hosts do require that step. Now you need to make sure you've already got your IP address before you start loading the WebRTE payload. So there's an issue that can happen when you load the WebRTE payload, which is that if you go back into the settings menu after you've loaded the payload, then what can happen is that it can actually stop the WebRTE payload from working properly. As you can see here, we've got it loaded successfully. So you just want to make sure you've already done everything you want to do in the settings menu before you load this payload, because if you go back into the settings menu after loading it, it will screw up the payload and you'll have to restart the PS4 and reload it again. So because of that, you don't want to go back into the settings menu now that we've loaded the WebRTE payload. So now that we've done that, we can now run the game that we want to apply some cheats for. For example, I've got Resident Evil 3 Remake here. And first of all, you want to make sure you know what game version you're running. That's important because these cheats are game version specific. So if we hit the options button, we can see if we go to information that I'm currently running version 1.03 of Resident Evil 3. And so we'll run the game and get it loaded up here. Okay, so I've loaded into the game here. As you can see, I don't have any cheats, got no unlimited ammo or anything. So what I'm going to do here is load up the trainer now. So we can minimize the game, head on to the internet browser and go to the website ps4trainer.com. So if we head to this website, and then from here we can go to the trainer option and just close the initial page once you've got the trainer open. So we'll close that page, head on over to the trainer, and then we're just going to type in the PS4's IP address into the PS4 IP box. And then once you've typed that in, you can then head on over to the search bar and search for the name of your game. So I'm going to search for Resident Evil, so I'm just going to type in RES. It is case sensitive, so you have to search in, uppercase characters for Resident Evil. Now, both of these are for the same game version, 1.03, which is the game version that I'm on. and they're for the same title ID as well. The reason why there's two of them is because this is a community supported trainer. So these two trainers will have been added by different people. So they'll maybe have some different options from one another. But the thing that you need to bear in mind is that the game version has to match. Otherwise the trainer is not going to work, and it's probably going to freeze the game or crash the game if you're on the wrong game version. So I'm on version 1.03, which is the correct version for these trainers. So they should work. I am on a different title ID version though. My version of Resident Evil 3 is version 14123, whereas this is for version 14168, which is different. But in most cases, you can get away with that. You can get away with having two different title ID versions of the game, and the trainer will still work as long as the game is on the correct game version, 1.03 in this case, and it should work fine. Obviously, there can be some things where certain options don't work if the title ID version is different, or if you're dealing with like a special edition version of the game compared to the regular edition. That's where you can run into issues. But again, the actual game version itself, like 1.03, that has to match. Otherwise, the trainer definitely will not work properly if you're on the wrong game version. So title ID version isn't as important, but the game version is very important. It has to match. So now we can go ahead and just load up one of these trainers here. And as you can see, it says trainer attached, and we know that we are good. So we can activate any one of these cheats. We can go ahead and enable easy kill, which I think is one hit kill, infinite health player. So basically God mode, I believe, infinite ammo clip. We'll also give ourselves 20 inventory slots, and why not increase speed by 2.7% or 2.7 times. And then once you've activated those, you want to hit the PS button on your PS4 controller, not circle, and then head back to the game. And if we resume game here, so if we look at my health real quick, you can see we're at fine right now. We're in the green, and we'll let him bite me. That should take down a health state. So if we have a look now, you can see that we're still green. We're still in the green, and we have our 20 inventory slots added, and we're right at the beginning of the game. And I also have unlimited ammo and one hit kill. Shot him once and he's dead. And as I'm firing, you can see the ammo count is not going down. So as you can see, those cheats activated absolutely no problem. So the other good thing about this trainer is because it's an online trainer and it's browser based, you can access it from any other device that's connected to the same network as your PS4. So for example, your phone or your computer, you can load up the trainer on your phone or on your computer and just type in the PS4's IP address, and then you can attach the trainer remotely and enable and disable the cheats from there. So you don't have to use the PS4's web browser because it can be a bit laggy. It's obviously good that you can use it on the PS4's browser, so you don't need to have another device to enable or disable the cheats. But it's an option. You can use your phone or your computer's web browser, and the trainer will be a lot snappier, a lot faster. So that's a really cool option right there. So that's the advantage of using the online trainer. There's also an offline trainer as well, which works in a very similar way, except it allows you to use it when you're not connected to the network, to the internet. So in order to use the offline trainer, all you really have to do is go on your exploit page with the payloads so that it gets cached in your PS4's web browser, which it does automatically when you go on that page with all the payloads on there. And then also you can access the trainer on the exploit hosts as well. The popular ones have the offline trainer available, like caro218.ir and nightKinghost.com have the offline trainer. And if you go on there, it will cache the trainer in the browser for offline use. This is just a clone of the PS4 web trainer by TylerMods. Once you've got that fully cached in your browser, you can then turn off the internet, enable the web RTE payload on your exploit host, because that page will be cached in the browser, so you'll be able to access it when you're not connected to the internet. And then you run that web RTE payload, run the game as we did before. Then all you have to do is go back on the exploit host again and run the offline trainer. That'll take you to the cached version. And then instead of typing in an IP address in the IP box, you just enter 0.0.0.0 or the word localhost in one word instead of an actual IP address, since you're using this offline. And then you can go down, search for your game and activate the trainer, and it should work absolutely fine, even though you're completely offline. And it's, like I say, it's the same trainer. It's just a cloned version of the online trainer, that you can access offline. So that's how you use the trainer both online and offline. Now we'll take a look at how to use a mod tool instead, which are quite a bit different. So mod tools typically run on the computer. Like most mod tools you'll find will be like a .NET application. Usually it'll be like a native Windows app that you can run on your PC and remotely connect to your PS4 to enable cheats and mods for your games. Now the difference is that trainers like the web trainer usually have, you know, small cheats for many different games. Well, most mod tools that you'll find typically don't support as many games, but for the games that they do support, they have more options available. So that's the advantage of using a mod tool versus a trainer, I guess. So with mod tools, it's a bit different. We use a different payload for mod tools. So I've gone ahead and rebooted my PS4 again, and I've loaded Gold Hen up again. So I've jailbroken my PS4 again. And now if I head back onto our exploit page, this time we use a different payload for mod tools. Mod tools typically use the PS4 debug payload rather than the WebRTE payload. So make sure you run PS4 debug. Now, the reason why I rebooted my PS4 is because you shouldn't run both of these payloads on the PS4 at the same time, because they can conflict with each other and interfere with each other and cause problems. So that's why, since I was loading WebRTE before, I rebooted my PS4 before I load PS4 debug, because I don't want to cause any kind of conflicts or issues. So now we can run PS4 debug. Okay, there we go. Payload loaded. PS4 debug by Golden. And that is good. Okay, so now that that's running, we can then go ahead and load whatever game we want to mod. So I've got Black Ops 3 here, which is on version 1.26. So we'll load this game up here. Right, okay, so I'm loaded into the game here. So the next thing I'm going to do is switch on over to the computer and use a mod tool. So one of the mod tools I'm going to use here is PS4 AIO. This is one of my own tools that I made quite a long time ago, but I have updated it to support 9.00. I just haven't had the time yet to update it fully and actually, you know, add support for the latest game patches and add support for the new Call of Duty game, Cold War. So I'll do that at some point. But yeah, I've just updated it to support the existing tools that are already in PS4 AIO. And so yeah, this is basically like a multi-COD mod tool. And there's lots of other tools available as well. I'll put some in the description. There's a great one called the PS4 Toolbox by DeathRGH, and there's other trainer mod tools as well that you can access. So I'll have a bunch of them linked below in the description. So the way that this works is that essentially I can just select the game I'm playing, which is Black Ops 3, select the update I'm on, which is 1.26, and then connect. And then using PS4 debug, that will connect me to the PS4. You do need to make sure you've selected your firmware version, so 9.00 up here, and that you've also entered your IP address here as well into the IP box. So the IP address of your PS4, then you can click connect and it will connect you to the PS4. Then I can fetch clients, which grabs all the players in the game. And then from here, I can apply mods to any individual player. For example, I can give myself God mode and, you know, kill streaks, things like freeze the player so I can't move, you know, things like cloak, enable cloaking, disable cloaking, give myself any weapon I want. So, you know, I've already got the CUDA, but maybe I'll give myself the VMP, and then that switches to the VMP. I can give myself a secondary weapon, like the default weapon, which is just your hands. Basically makes your hands the weapon. That's default weapon. There's camos as well, so you can apply different camos to your weapon. Screen effects, you know, hacked, out of map warning, and, you know, thermal vision and all that kind of stuff. So you can do all that from within there. Enable UAV, various other things. What else? How about player speed? Can adjust the player speed to move really fast. Enable hologram, disable hologram. And there's mods for the zombie mode as well. And of course, I can also do teleportation, like, you know, get my player position, teleport to the sky. So you can see I have now teleported into the air. And there we go. So all of that kind of stuff works. And what's cool about this is, like I say, you can apply these to any player in the game. So I can select any one of these other players and give them God mode, give them kill streaks, all that kind of stuff. Give them unlimited ammo, for example, and all of that. So it has all of those kind of options. Give myself unlimited ammo. As you can see, all of that's working. So I can do all of that. Plus I can also, you know, teleport all players to my location here. So yeah, that all works. There's even more options in here as well. Console commands, object gravity, draw FPS on screen, stuff like that, reset FPS. You can restart the match just by clicking a button, and that reboots it. And of course, you can also, you know, load a different map, for example. Let's load Spire, for example, load map, and then that loads us into the next map. So this is what I mean by mod tools having more options, because obviously there is a trainer for like Black Ops 3 and the other Call of Duty games in the PS4 trainer by Tyler Mods and the offline trainer. They just have basic stuff like God mode, unlimited ammo, maybe give kill streaks or something, maybe points for zombies, and that's about it. Just sort of the basics. Whereas if you use a more kind of specialized mod tool that is specialized specifically for specific games, they'll tend to have a lot more options like this. Well, that's the advantage of using mod tools compared to like web trainers. So yeah, obviously there are other ways of modding your games as well, of course. For example, there's mod menus for GTA 5, Red Dead Redemption 2. There's obviously developer menus or debug menus for Naughty Dog games like The Last of Us and, you know, Uncharted series. There's developer and debug menus for Dead Island and Dying Light and a few other games as well. So you can enable that kind of stuff too. And also you can install permanent cheats as well. I've already done a video on that where you basically take the cheats from the trainers and apply them directly to the game's executable file to enable the cheats permanently if you want it always on, so you don't have to constantly open the trainer and load WebRTE every time you want to have a certain mod enabled or cheat enabled. You can just have it enabled permanently. So I'll leave that video also linked down in the video description. So hope you guys enjoyed this one or found the information useful. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe, and I'll hopefully see you guys in the next one.